Shalom, I'm David Greenstein, Rabbi of Congregation Shomrei Emunah in Montclair, New Jersey. It's my privilege today to speak to you a little bit about something in our Torah reading, Tazria. Most of the time we pay attention to the rest of the Torah portion, and it becomes an occasion for us to ponder speech ethics, how important it is for us to pay attention to how we talk about each other, how we talk to each other, how we talk about each other's foibles and lives, and to be careful to be respectful and thoughtful in how we communicate. So, using that lesson, I want to pay attention to how the Torah itself chooses to communicate to us in the very first paragraph of our Torah reading, where it talks about a completely different subject, the subject of childbirth. The name of our Torah portion, Tazria, comes from that section, where it says, Isha ki Tazria v'yalda zachar. So a standard translation is, when a woman at childbirth bears a male, etc., etc. So we have all kinds of laws about how childbirth affects the ritual purity and impurity of the mother. Let's pay very close attention to the language. Childbirth is this miraculous experience that is exclusively experienced by women. We know that the Torah in general likes to talk mostly to the men, mostly about the concerns of men. So when we read this section, it is quite astounding to me to notice that the Torah pays close attention to formulating its verses in a way that speaks about the woman and not the man. The father is never mentioned in this entire section. Isha ki Tazria. The literal meaning is when a woman produces seed and then gives birth, etc. It never says, as it says in other places in the Torah, and when the man begat a child, etc. The man is not mentioned. Even the circumcision of the male child is put in the passive tense. It doesn't say the father should circumcise his son. It says, let the son be circumcised. So the Torah is going out of its way to choose its words carefully and to acknowledge that there's something so unique and so specific to the woman's experience that it needs to be honored. It is the woman who gives birth. It is the woman who watches her child then be taken and subjected to a ritual. It is the woman who bonds with her child for a set period of time that the Torah talks about. And then the woman is called upon to return to the sanctuary, to the shrine, to the Mishkan, to the temple, to bring a sacrifice. It's not the husband, it's not the father who does this. She does it. When she brings the sacrifice, the Torah says, well, what if she can't afford a really expensive sacrifice? Let her bring just 2 little birds. It is she who is the focus again. She is the mother of her child. She is the wife of the father of the child, and the father is never mentioned. He is not acknowledged as part of this story. For one brief shining moment, the Torah gives the woman in her glorious, mysterious, and miraculous ability to give life again into the world, gives that recognition and gives it its awesome due. Thank you to the Torah for choosing its words so carefully.